Hey, we're back on the internet, brother.
Yeah, man.
That's my boy Josh Krantz here. I'm Derek. We are talking college hoops, and it is almost tournament time. So we've been chatting off the camera here about everything we like and kind of getting an idea of what's going on. And we're just going to try to give out some money to people. That's a cool idea, right? Um,
That's the game.
Wednesday's a weird day to start because not a lot of people like mid-major basketball. I do a lot, but there are some good games on there today too for like some blue bloodish teams too are playing basketball. Your Gators are in action today, so we'll talk about that one too. And conference tournament time is coming up here next week. We start that, and that kind of just lays the foundation for the greatest sporting event in all of sports. March Madness is right around the corner, dude.
It's almost March, man. It's almost March. We're days away from March. I can't
It's
wait.
March, and then I wish it started the beginning of March because you know how the Final Four
Yes.
roll.
It's like the last week of the season. The first week of March is always like the last week of the season.
Right. So, but I mean, this is a good week for tune-ups. There's a lot of good games on deck here, and then we're gonna get flying, dude.
Some of the
Um,
conferences are coming down to the last couple of games in the season for them.
it looks like it, and I don't. Do you like conference regular season championships? Does that mean anything to you?
I think it means it's just the overall season. They're showing that every game matters. But then you go into the tournaments, and kind of seeding. Put yourself in a good spot. I think that when it comes down to it, should it be the conference champion in the regular season that makes it to the tournament? I do believe that. But the more fun part is having that conference tournament and having those Cinderellas, the birth of the Cinderella teams in those conference tournaments. I've been going on a run, 4 games in a row and 3 games in a
Especially
row.
the small conferences. That's really cool to me. Like if
Yeah.
some team just pops up. Now it doesn't make for a good March Madness game if some team that's 11-22 wins their conference tournament and then gets in and has to play UConn.
It
That's
sucks. It sucks for teams like Miami of Ohio that they're undefeated. They got all these wins and they're in the bubble. Like it just sucks for them.
yeah, they're ranked and they're in the bubble. It's
Ranked.
weird, right? You know
It's
they got to
good. It's good when your team like that is on the bubble. You have a good chance of making the tournament, even if you take a loss in the conference tournament. But
yep.
you're still like all that success, all those wins, and you're on the bubble. It just sucks for teams like that. That's why the non-conference schedule matters.
The Selection Sunday show is the best thing, man. I love it.
I
I love.
just I couldn't wait for the fake one they had a couple days ago.
Oh, I know. About that with my dad, and he was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Why are they giving us out seeds already?" And I'm like, "Anymore? We want to know like what's everybody doing."
Isn't that now? It's like football season's over, NBA season is coming down to like kind of like the month that
The
a
weird
lot of
part,
staleness happening this month for the NBA getting into the playoffs.
yeah,
So they want to kind of rev up the college season. And we're coming down to the nitty gritty in the college season. They want to get those casual fans going now.
yeah. I mean, this is a good like month and a half for sports,
Yes.
where you get like NBA playoffs will start, NHL playoffs will start, Masters week is then. You have obviously March Madness, like all of those things happening, and before we have to worry about the doldrums of summer. And for me, at least, we got the World Cup, so that's going to help with slow
Yeah.
baseball time. So at least there's that. And
I get to
did you
actually watch some soccer tonight. I like it.
did you watch any Winter Olympics?
I watched obviously my favorite sport, curling. Um, Always a big curling fan. Me and my dad. Uh, we need to pick up my nephew from school and take him to a couple of doctor's appointments. And in the meantime, we were watching a lot of figure skating.
Nice.
The team we actually sat down and watched the team event where the French won, and there was a big controversy after that. I
I
watched
saw.
that live. I watched that live.
Nice.
Snowboarding is cool. The
Like
bobsledding, and then
yeah,
I'm out. I don't know what else is going on.
the giant. I watched the giant slalom this year. They go down and do that super crazy jump where they go down the big.
Yes, it's kind
That
of the Winter Olympics is kind of like let's put as many survival games as possible together, and then just create sports out of it. It's
it
like
kind of
the the 2 person like going down the hill.
yeah.
Like what's that really for? Like where's
How athletic is that?
and someone was trying to explain the game, like how the game came about. It was like, yeah, some guy was trying to come down a hill and needed help. He found someone, and they both did it, and they created a sport out of it.
Yeah, it's like Help me get down the hill. All right, that's a sport. That's
Every
awesome.
single one, like I would say, 70% of these games in the Winter Olympics is all survival. That they just created a sport. It's like, hey, we're on top of a hill. We need to get down. Let's get these skis and get down as quickly as possible. Hey, we found a log and a tree. Let's cut it up, made some room for us, and get 4 of us go down there in a bobsled.
That's amazing. What are they going to do next? I remember when snowboarding wasn't a sport, so now I guess they're progressing to things as they go along.
Trying to get the youngsters in, and they come up with some new stuff. Skateboarding in the Summer Olympics, snowboarding in the Winter Olympics.
I mean, that's cool to progress because I mean, but curling is fun. I have to
Curling's
admit,
fun.
it's intense. As that thing's rolling down the ice, and you're like, how are you going to get this thing to move? Stop.
We were debating whether the guy touched it with his finger across the line.
Yeah.
The Canadian got really upset too. I mean, there were a lot of. I've never heard a Canadian say so many curse words in my life.
What the Canuck was that?
He's like, don't F with me.
Oh, I love it. All right, let's go March Madness style basketball.
Talk some ball, man. Let's talk some ball.
Big games coming up. The first one we had here that I highlighted, and when I got on and asked you what you liked, we kind of both lit up about this one. Was SMU is at Cal, and we both like Cal with the points tonight.
Love Cal.
These two teams are very similar record-wise. They're both fighting for ACC middle tier status. And my reason for this game was pretty simple, was the travel.
Yeah.
Making this conference now, I'm a Florida State fan, so ACC, been ACC for a while, and to see a team from California in there is just weird, right? And then you got the team is from Texas, SMU traveling out there, and just that the game to me, just it came down to the travel, and I like a home underdog as much as the next guy does, so I just felt like this screamed out to me. Cal is not playing bad ball. SMU, I feel like, has been pretty competitive lately too. So I just felt like the home team getting points in this game didn't make a lot of sense to me. I don't know. How do you feel about it?
I think Cal's a good team. They got a good backcourt. They got Pippin. One of Pippin's kids is on the team. Ames is a really good point guard. I love Ames. I saw them play down here in Miami. And they're just a tough team. They got a lot of shooting on that team. Some front court guys. SMU likes to play fast. They want to score. They want to get going. The travel is going to be in the especially with the weather going on around the country. Cal at home. I just think that they play tough enough. They don't play great defense, but they play tough enough defense. But they can slow down a couple of the guys in SMU and make it a good game, make it a close game, and come out on top.
We got to ride with Cal here too. I feel the same way. What's that?
I lost you for a second. You went frozen on me.
Yep.
And then the coach of Cal.
You know how the internet does.
Yeah, well, the coach of Cal. I was surprised. I saw Cal play Miami a couple weeks ago. And it's Mark Madsen, the dancing Laker when they won the championships. I didn't realize he was he was the coach of the team.
Coaching college basketball. I'm going to be completely honest. That's a crazy pull, dude. I was watching something with where Shaq was talking about him on that team and how like Shaq made him buy his first truck or whatever, or Shaq bought it for him, like that. And he just seemed like the nicest guy ever. I don't know that I want a super nice guy coaching my college team, but
the guy's intense. He's intense.
Let's go dancing Mark Madsen plus 4.5 tonight then.
Yeah.
The next game we had, pivoting over to the West Coast, staying over there, same state. Utah State traveling to San Diego State. So are they like the Fighting Mormons, Utah State? They're the Aggies, I think. This is a terrible nickname for a team in Utah, but Utah.
The Aggies and the Aztecs.
We like two things in this game. I'm on the Utah State side. I feel like it opened up with Utah State -2. They have like I think these teams are also similar to SMU and Cal. They have the same record.
Yeah.
Both play a pretty strong non-conference schedule, but especially San Diego State, historically defensive team, and this total at 146.5 looks a little high to me also. So
And the
I'm
last time they played, yeah.
what was the what was the total last time they played?
Oh, last time they played, Utah State won 71-66 at Utah State.
Right, so we're at what 137 in that
Yeah.
game. So yeah, trying to understand where you're finding 10 extra points in a game like that. Now, when we're going to the team who plays historic defense, doesn't make a lot of sense to me either. I'm 100% with you on that game. I see both teams probably ending in the 60s. Maybe it's high 60s, but I see both teams probably finishing somewhere in the 60s here at this game. You got an 11 p.m. tip off. Love Mountain West basketball, so I'm on this game too, pretty heavy. I have Utah State +1.5 as my favorite bet of the whole day.
Oh, Utah State's been running through the conference.
The game will probably be super.
Yeah. And Utah State,
Both.
they're coming off a loss, so they're hungry. And
Yep.
I just think that both these teams play really good defense. Both teams can score when they need to, but the fact that they play really good defense, a lot of their wins have been them in the 70s or 80s, but they're going against non-offensive type teams. They're going against defensive teams, and when that happens, the score kind of goes down. So when both teams are defensive, they kind of go to that. That's the goal of both these teams. They want to stop you from scoring at 70 points. So both teams have kept a lot of teams down in the 60s, a couple of them in the 50s. Utah State just came over with a win against Boise State 75-56. If they can hold you down to that, they will. So that's what both these teams' goals are, to get on the defensive end, score when they can, but they want to stop you from scoring. And a game like this, San Diego State, known for defense, they're at home. It's a tough place to play. Utah State, I think they're going to come away, just like you said, they're going to come away with this victory, but it's not going to be an easy victory. It's not going to be a double digit, anything like that. It's going to be a close game, but I think that the defense of both these teams is going to show up, and that's why it's going to be a low scoring game in my mind.
Yeah, like you were saying, Utah State has had a couple games where they've had to score some points, so they can. And out of the two teams, I think they're the team that, when it comes down to it, again, trying to break through against the other team's defense, that's the team I put more confidence in being able to put the ball in the basket at the end of the game and win. So.
And they have not played each other. Oh, no, they have. 71-66. Yeah. I mean, the last time they played, it came down to the same thing. It's just like I was said. Yeah.
Looking at a 10-point, I mean, where are we getting 10 extra points from?
No.
I don't see it. So, and we were very critical of that last year about these big lines shifts and like not understanding why, because betting wise it doesn't look like it makes sense. And those were the ones that you were like trying to stay away from. We'll talk about one of those in a little bit, but this is one of those. It's like, if the first game was 137, why is this 10 points higher? Are we missing something? I'm just going with the school of thought that says, no, I know these two teams and how they play. These are both likely. You think these are both tournament teams? I think they both are.
I think they both are definitely tournament teams. Their seeding. I mean, I can see the loser of this game being on the bubble major, and getting into the first four games in Dayton. But I do think both these teams make that line and get in the over. The first game was I mean, you can look at the stats and look at the percentages. A very poor shooting game between these two teams.
Right.
Both of them in the low 20s in 3-point percentage. Both of them couldn't hit free throws. San Diego State had actually a better free throw shooting game and still lost the game. Utah State missed 10 free throws and won. So I think that kind of goes with what I was saying is that even though you can look at that and say, oh, they just shot the ball bad, they'll shoot it better this game. That's what they're trying to do. They are good at stopping you from scoring. So
Right.
this is kind of on par from when these two teams kind of go collision. They will stop each other from scoring and having good percentage nights. And then the better team will rise to the top, and that's Utah State. And that's
Yeah,
why both of
I
those make sense to me.
I feel the same way. I don't even know if we could call it bad offensive game that
No.
they had. It's more like just the defense did what they're supposed to do in these this type of matchup with each other. And
And that's today's game. Unfortunately, today's game is all about the three. So both these teams are going to shoot 20 to 25 threes a game, but they're not going to shoot high percentages, not against each other.
right, and that's the only way that I feel like this bet doesn't hit is that somebody just catches fire from three, and there's not at the end of the day these are college kids. We can't. They're not getting. Some of them are getting paid. you know, Most of them are not getting paid a hefty amount of money to get out there and guard the 3-point line. So this is all about pride, and I think these teams hang their hat on that end of the court. So
Yeah.
I really like this one. I like this one together. If you're going to do a parlay, if anybody's watching this, they're going to do a parlay. I really like the under as part of your parlay if you're going to do it, and I don't mind you putting these two together. I'm probably going to do Utah State on the money line. I don't think
Yeah.
I need 1.5 points,
Mm.
but that's where I'm at on that one. Those were probably our strongest plays. I have a bunch of mid-major stuff that I like that I'm just going to kind of flash through here now, just before we touch on some of the other good stuff. North Texas at Charlotte. This line should be like 4.5 in my opinion for North Texas. Neither one of these teams is good at basketball, so if you're gonna don't go lay your bankroll on this kind of game. Not a good style clash of teams that are going to be conference, cutting down their conference nets. Even I don't like either one of these teams to probably even win more than one game in their conference tournament in the first place. So it's not one of those things. It's just this North Texas team recently, in my opinion, has just been the better team. Whenever you see a short line of a home team that's got a better record, so let's just put it that way, like Charlotte is on paper is the better team. Why is North Texas favored? What's going on with them? And you have I know they have a player named McClendon who's pretty good at North Texas, and he's out, and they're still favored in this game.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I'm trying to figure out is like the line. It's more like the line doesn't make sense to me as to why I'm on it more than I am on any other reason. So just for me, this is something I had it, and when I did my little model here that I've been trying to work on. That's kind of it. North Texas has won 4 out of the last 5 they've played against Charlotte. Charlotte was just like their football team has been terrible in the last several years. So I'm not running out to ever bet on a Charlotte game anyway. But they're committing 13 turnovers a game.
Yeah.
And college basketball, if you're just turning the ball over like that. And North Texas is again, they're not a good road team. They're 4-6 or something like that on the road. In conference, they're not good. But just this number is too short for me. It should be 4 or 5. So I'm gonna bet this one. I don't advise again anybody to go out and lay half your bankroll on this game. This is not one of those. It's just if I'm trying to build a 3-game parlay or something like that, I like this one, and I feel like there's value in it by getting a couple extra points in this game. I don't know if you have anything to add to it. Probably not, because this game doesn't mean a lot to you. But
No, it's one of those. Me. I like to look at the records. I don't like looking at these games. Their teams are so close to 500 playing each other, but
right,
I would definitely lean North Texas in this because these are 2 bottom teams in their conference. Charlotte's kind of mid there, but they're 14-13 record. I would lean North Texas. I don't even though one of the guys is hurt. They have multiple guys that can put points up. They are very good at stealing the ball. So if Charlotte's going to turn it over, North Texas is going to grab it and they're going to run. They're going to score with it. So that's just what they do. Kind of the matchup wise, it feeds into what North Texas likes to do.
That's another thing, and I'm glad you touched on that. That I liked is the turnovers being high, and then North Texas actually like forcing turnovers to start with
Almost 10
help.
a game as a team.
Yeah, which is fantastic. You know,
Steals. Yeah, almost
right?
10 steals a game.
Which is that's kind of a crazy number in college. 10?
Yeah, 10 steals a game.
Now they're not playing in some conference where it's like, we got NBA point guards running around with the ball and stuff like that. But, all in all, I mean, a decent type of player in that conference. So 10 is a lot,
Yeah.
I feel like that's pretty high. So we're going to lock that one in. I wanted to jump to real quick because we had talked about Florida for you. And I was off this game originally, and I told you before we started why I was off it was because the line just looks way too short to me. I don't understand Florida. Texas doesn't do anything really well, but they're a brand. So I get like people wanting to talk about them on television and this being like a big game, quote unquote, because they're two big brands. They're two of probably the 10 biggest brands in college sports. So I think, yeah, I get why people are paying attention to this game. But at the end of the day, I think Florida's the much better team, and I know you were on Florida's team total. So I think it's 82.5 is what we got on the screen for it. So 82.5 for Florida. In most games, they should put up. They have the front court advantage. They have the rebounding advantage. They have the coaching advantage. They have the pedigree advantage. There's not much about this Florida team that I don't think, presents well, and especially against this Texas team, they're just the Texas team itself. Texas hasn't been strong in any pockets this year, and I think Florida, even though they have Arkansas on deck, I like Florida to be able to play their style against Texas and put up points.
Yeah, I don't understand the line. It's kind of like a couple of games that, just Florida's been dominating. They've been really on fire. They are they were shooting the three so bad earlier in the year that a lot of the odds makers are like, oh, maybe they're getting lucky, maybe they've gradually gotten better and better offensively throughout the season, and that's exactly what they were trying to do. They had a really hard non-conference schedule to kind of prepare them for these moments, to prepare them for the conference schedule. They've kind of just blown up in the last month. Their front court is as dominant as it was last year. I think even more dominant. They're kind of moving their offense through that. The back court is showing up. I'm emotional when it comes to Florida, so it's not really. I'm not really going to touch this game because the line just is so. It's 5.5 points. I don't understand that at all. I think that the front court is going to dominate the game. Texas has a big guy, but he's going to get canceled out by the entire front court of Florida. It's all going to depend on whether Florida can hit shots or not, and they've been hitting shots lately. Lee's stepped up his game. Boogie defensively is so fast. I mean, he just gets out and going. He steals the ball a lot recently. He's getting down the court. They're passing the ball so well to each other. They're really coming together. But like you said, they have a huge game coming up this weekend, the biggest game for the rest of the season. Game is going to determine who wins the SEC regular season. Florida's got a 2-game lead right now, and they got game day coming in, so they're on the road tonight. They're looking into the Saturday for the game day. It's going to be. I do think it's going to be a bit of a struggle early, and I think that Florida pulls out late. It's hard. The spread is killing me. At 5.5, I just don't understand it. I think they blow them out. But that's just me. I'm a Gator fan. I've been watching them the last couple of weeks. That's just what they've been doing. Ole Miss blow them out. Georgia blow them out. And these are games that were like less than 10 spreads, and Florida just still comes out and just
And
gets
I think
control of the game at some point.
those teams you just mentioned are similar to like a Texas. Like they're
Yeah.
just very middle to lower middle pack in the SEC. Teams that Florida should beat by 10 points.
Yeah.
Even on a road game, If this game was at Florida, Florida would be 13 and a
Oh,
half favorite.
yes.
Why are, and spreads are 3 or 4 points at home, right? So why are we giving this Texas team, and maybe this is a game that Texas gets up for because their season is kind of meh, and, you see them come in, and again, these are two big Nike brands.
Yeah.
Like,
Jordan.
this is the big clash here, that kind of stuff, or Jordan brand, whatever it is. Same difference. But Florida's just, I'm probably going to bet Florida -5.5 now that we're talking about it.
You want to? I give the devil's advocate part of it. Every now and then you have that game where like these teams are just they're on such a roll. They're playing so well. Then they go on the road and they have a hiccup and things don't go well. Just it's happened to Florida about a month ago against Auburn. They were feeling themselves. They just had the big victory against Vanderbilt. They thought that they were going to just grab and control the conference, and then they go into Auburn. They play Auburn, and Auburn beats them at home. And it kind of a wake up call when you get wake up calls like that, and then you go forward. So maybe tonight's another. We're feeling ourselves. We're playing great. We're beating teams by 10 points or more. Do we go into Texas and they just come out firing against the defending national champs, the top team in the conference, or they come out firing and play us well? That could happen. Anything can happen in a basketball game, but I just don't see it. I think that we're so focused on after that Auburn game, it just changed the entire mentality of the team. Like they're not taking games against these teams lightly anymore. They're full throttle trying to win these games to get to this weekend to play in Arkansas and make a statement. I think that's Todd Golden. Those non-conference losses to Duke, to Connecticut, to Arizona, we lost by possessions. We didn't lose big time. We lost by possessions. And the narrative with Florida was that we're not the same team, different backcourt. We're not going to win these games. And then we start, I think that there's a chip on this team's shoulder to show that this is a different team this year than it was last year. We're led by the front court this year, but the backcourt has been coming on. So it's obviously I'm an emotional. I'm a Gator fan. I'm gonna go with the Gators. I'm probably not gonna bet it because I don't like betting on emotions. I like betting on knowledge and facts and stuff.
I'll do it
Do
for
it
you.
for me. Appreciate it.
I think for the same reasons you said, and typically when you're looking at like a letdown spot, like is this the pocket for a letdown spot? You're traveling to Texas, then you have Arkansas. But Arkansas's got one of those games, and you and I were talking about it off camera too. Like they've got a testy game against A&M, and it's like, are they going to be up for that game too? Now, the television market wants both of these teams to cruise to victory tonight so that we have a fun clash of hot teams playing each other. And we don't want to have one of these two teams limping into that game going, oh, well, do we have to go back to the drawing board kind of thing? It makes me think the coaches will get focused for this game.
Yeah.
And you're talking about Patino and you're talking about Golden, like two guys that are just top class guys that are like, they're ready to have their teams rolling, and I don't see a reason for Florida to be the letdown team out of those two. I mean, 5.5 is short. I don't understand it.
5 points is the free throws Florida's going to make at the end of the game to get it out of place.
So another game we weren't going to talk about tonight, but I'll just use it to reference this. So St. John's, UConn, that has the same line. If you're telling me if Florida went into UConn tonight, the line would probably be 5.5, and I would think that maybe that would be fair. Okay, but Texas is not UConn, so I don't understand where we're getting this number from.
You always ask yourself, what do they know that I don't know? It's Vegas.
Right.
Do they know something that I'm just not paying attention to?
Well, what they're doing is they're dangling low fruit in front of you because anybody who's got a pulse is going to look at that and go, Florida's got Florida's number in front of their team, so we're going to pick them, right?
Yeah.
Texas is a big enough brand where people are going to bet on Texas too. And that kind of shifts the market where this number should be 8 maybe or 7 and it comes back down to 5.5 and you're like,
if this was 8.5, if it was 8.5, I'd understand it a lot more.
I'd probably take Florida more certainly if it was 8.5 because that makes more sense to me, and I get it. And they're double digit point, team. They're double digits greater than Texas. Does that make sense? They're a better team. Texas, I mean, they both play strong schedules. It's nothing like that. It's not like they don't get talent. They both get talent. It's just how are you putting that team together? And Florida, like you said, is finding themselves over the last couple of weeks, where Texas is not finding themselves. Every time I've ever seen them come on TV, it's like they play really well or they play awful, and it's
Exactly.
for middle. And it's like, could this be the game where they play tremendous? Well, how does Vegas know that? I have to say that they don't, just based off what I've seen. So uh, I'm with you on the team total too. I think if Florida
Yeah.
wins the game, Texas is gonna have to try to play the style that Florida plays, and score some points, or they're just
Well, Texas is a team that's given up. They've given up since
this
I
should
would
be
say the last 5 or 6 games. They gave up 88. They gave up they South Carolina, Oklahoma. I don't consider those offensive teams. So or Ole Miss. They're playing against a lot of defensive teams lately,
yeah
and now they're going up against a Florida, which is a completely different type of style. They went against LSU, same kind of style. They gave up 85. They went against Georgia, gave up 91. So they're giving up in the upper 80s, 90s against the teams that like to score.
right.
They're playing defensive games against the teams that don't score a lot, but they're playing up in those upper 90s, upper 80s against the teams that like to score. Florida's a team that likes to score.
That sounds like the pace is being dictated by the other team and not Texas, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, to be honest, I like this game to be like a 91 to like 76, 78.
That sounds good to me.
Yeah.
That
And I'm
sounds.
giving Texas 78 points, and I don't think that they're going to score that many points.
I
I
don't
just
either.
don't think they're going to rebound against
And
us.
maybe you don't score 91, but 83 doesn't seem like enough.
83 is no.
That's that's something I suspect is being hit with like 5 minutes left.
Yes.
You said it's a double-digit lead, and so fouling doesn't really come into play. So maybe you get to 90, maybe you don't. Depends on how aggressive everybody is at the end. But I think you guys win this game comfortably.
This is a team that they get most of the rebounds are from their guards.
Right.
And so that means that there's a lot of 3-pointers being shot in that type of situation, or this and that. But Florida leads the country in offensive rebounds. So
What's
Florida's
keep
going to miss some threes, but they're going to get their own rebounds.
What's keeping us off of like a -3.5 or -4.5 first half? Florida just
Yeah, I think
take.
Florida towards the end of the first half is going to break away
That's what I
if it
mean.
starts out close.
That number's got to be. It's probably 3.5.
And you're talking about one guy. Texas has one guy.
Right.
They got Darylyn Swain. He leads the team in points, rebounds, assists, and steals. He leads the team in every category that they have. He's their only guy, and he is their guard. So he's not going to out rebound this team. He's not going to all of a sudden score 50 points against Florida. Like, it's not going to happen. We're going to
Yeah.
put some defensive guys on him. He's
I
not going to rebound against us.
More we're talking about this, I'm like itching my fingers over here to just I got my phone over here and I'm ready to just turn it on and start. There we go.
And then again, it's like, what does Vegas know?
Yeah, I don't know, but I'm on it with you, so I'm gonna take that one. I'm gonna grab these other quick ones here. This started out as my favorite bet of the whole day until I saw the Utah State stuff. And North Texas too is kind of up there too. George Mason beat this team. I think George Mason is plus or -1.5 at this point.
Plus 1.5.
Plus 1.5. So it started at -1.5. So that's the 3-point line movement is weird to start with. George Mason beat them already this year by 8 points. George Mason turned them over 12 times. They only shot 41% from the field, which is low. So I think they've got a better game in them. They went 4 of 16 from 3 in that game. George Mason's they started out, I think, 19-1. They were like, this conference, the A10 was going to get 3 teams in, okay, to start this season. They were getting 3 teams, and George Mason has just lost 3 games in a row here. And against good teams, they're not, but they haven't played well. Dayton just beat the crap out of them, but Dayton beat the crap out of St. Louis, who was the best team in this conference too for a while. So I don't give too much credence into that. St. Joe's, there's nothing there for me. The wrong team is favored. I don't know why this line moved. at all, but I'm on George Mason. I don't want the points. I want George Mason.
Yeah, I mean the matchup predictor for the game has George Mason at 57%. How are they not the favorite to win this game?
Points. I get it. I get the road thing, and you gotta throw those points in here. But the model I used had George Mason -3.5. So you're telling me there's 5 points of value on this game. I get people don't like mid-major games. They don't know anything about this team. The only thing you know about George Mason is they made the Final Four 2 decades ago. Fine, but this is a good team. I watched them play George Washington tough. George Washington is another good team that I like a lot, but just George Mason here is a. They're not going to make the tournament, unfortunately, because of these 3 losses in a row that they've had. The at-large bid is gone for them. Hey, nice ceiling. But I'm on George Mason. This is definitely going to be in any parlays I put together today.
Yeah, the last time they played, George Mason won by 8. That was earlier this month.
8 point that was the game that St. Joe's couldn't do anything well.
Yeah, 60-52.
The George Mason's. This is just some stupid thing that I wrote down. George Mason's arena holds 10,000 people. Okay, and that's where they played this first time around. Now St. Joe's Arena holds like 3,800 people. So this small thing that's like this louder arena is what they think that I don't know what these odds makers play into this game as to what they think is going to happen. St. Joe's is 11-3 at home, fine, but this team already beat you. Neither one of you is playing for anything wild here. You're both like pretty good in the conference. But like the conference seeding for your tournament isn't going to make a difference anymore in this game, and I just think George Mason's the better team. Most of the year, they've proved that.
Yeah, the reason why is this is all recent bias.
Right.
George Mason's lost 4 of the last 5.
But we know that about college basketball teams, right? Like the better team,
they go on runs.
Right, it happens. Like this is not when I started the year. George Mason wasn't on my radar of college basketball. Like I know who they are, but they weren't anybody that I was going to write home about.
No, they were hot.
Either was St. Louis for that matter. If you look at that conference, like Dayton has pretty much owned that conference for the better part of a decade. And now look, they're flexing that on everybody. They keep beating all the teams that they're favored to lose against. So
St. Louis got the big boy. St. Louis got the big boy from what's it called? I forgot what school.
Abdul-Jabbar, right?
Yeah, with the glasses. Yeah, we got the goggles.
That was Indiana State's dude.
Yeah, Indiana State. That's right.
That's where this dude is like Avila, right? Isn't that his name?
Avila. That's right. Yeah, he's big boy. Big boy shooting threes too in the top of the key.
Well, he's moved his game along because he's been in college for 9 years now. I feel like, but all that to say, George Mason is more as the cream of the division to me. One of the top 3 teams. St. Louis or St. Joe's is a little bit below that, and I just don't see them giving points.
St. Joe's, St. Joe's got hot late. Mason got kind of has died down the last month, but that doesn't mean that all of a sudden they just start playing. If you're going to go by who those 2 teams are, it's just like you said, George Mason's the better team when you put these 2 teams on a neutral side or anything like that. And I don't think the away and home have any difference in this conference. And when it comes to the top 4 teams, when they're playing one of those teams that are like St. Joe's is only in the 5th place because they've had a hot month in February.
Right, they've gone from like probably 8th to 5th just by winning games in a row. But at the end of the day, that to me doesn't mean that they're deserving. I get like the money coming in too. When you get line movement like that, where a team is favored by 1.5, and then you have no reasonable reason to change it to +1.5, it's just that the public is on that team, and so the money is sharp. The sharp money is going to come in on George Mason. This is probably going to be a pick 'em by the time they start this game.
Yeah.
And I want to take George Mason on the money line when I'm getting plus money for it. That's the way I'm looking at it. The next game, I love this team, dude. Queens University. Queens University of Charlotte. It's not in Queens. So, guys, this is a team in North Carolina. I sent you this stat a couple weeks ago. They are the number 2 first half scoring team in all of college basketball, only behind the Michigan Wolverines. They average 42 points a game in the first half. So they like to light up the scoreboard. Eastern Kentucky is no different. If you look at their records, okay, of these two teams, Eastern Kentucky is 7-9 in the conference. Queens is 12-4. Okay, so two totally different teams as far as conference goes. They got 5-game disparity in their conference record. Queens is I want to say is this line still -1.5 right
This
now?
line is 1.5.
Queens is 1.5.
Queens -1.5.
I got a -4.5 is where I really have this line at. These two teams have played already. It was at Queens, and there was 190 points scored in this game. It was 91-89. So a close game, and I agree. Like, okay, we're flipping over to Eastern Kentucky being the home team, but I just think that Queens has been a better team all year long. This line is at 165, and I don't mind taking the over either in that game at all. So that
Absolutely.
would be another play, but I just feel stronger that Queens is the better team. So I'm taking them on the money line.
Queens has 6 players that average double figures. 6 guys on that team get 10 or more points. They move the ball. They average like 15 assists a game. Eastern Kentucky's getting almost 15 assists a game also. Both these teams move the ball.
These are well-oiled machines on offense.
Yeah.
I just feel like when you have two teams that score a lot of points, and I know that the first game it fell right on this number. Queens won 2 points. They're favored by 1.5 here. It makes perfect sense. That's why I'm taking the money line, as I could see this it could be a 1-point game. I have Queens as a 4-point favorite in this game, but the more I'm looking at it too, I think I'm going to take the over. I don't think that's enough points either here.
I'm also taking team total over for Queens.
Yeah,
I think they're like 82.5, 83.5.
Team total over is also another good one too, but I've been riding this team for like the last couple of weeks, and I think only one time they let me down.
The first half, I think they got like 22 in the first half, but then they scored like 60 in the second.
Yeah, they scored like 60.
Like the game over went over, but
I know
the first half over did not. But they went over in that game.
That's what's keeping me off of just taking them to win the first half, which is what I was going to do initially when I looked at this line, is to say, hey, I think they get out to the lead. Maybe Eastern Kentucky reels them back in with the home crowd kind of thing. But I just like Queens in a full total here in the game. But any way that we've just sliced it here, either they win. If you don't want to take the win, just take the points. These are two offensive juggernaut teams. Or if you want to, team total over for one of these teams. I really like a lot. I'm going to keep using Queens as long as they're playing basketball. I feel like they're that. Who we had somebody like this last year, and I can't remember who it was. We did Akron for a while.
Akron was the team we did a long time.
Akron for a while because Akron kept scoring 90 points every game.
90 a game.
It was always their total, and we would take their team total over. It was automatic without even looking at the line. We were just
it was just like NBA last year. You would always say Denver Nuggets team total, take it 120, take it.
It doesn't.
If it's a 118, if it's in the 1-teens, you take it.
Yeah, if it's, I got up to like 124 before I didn't taking them anymore. Road, away, it didn't make any. Especially at home, they were scoring like 135 a night.
There's so many teams like they might not play a lot of defense, but they're going to get 85 a game.
That's what these are, and I probably attribute it to just small players and not banging inside on the glass. You know what I mean? There's not a lot of physical basketball being played.
Today's game, 3-pointers. Everyone's taking 3-pointers.
Tons of kids in college that can shoot the 3-pointer.
That's how they get scholarships nowadays. It's like in football, if you want a scholarship, you're either a kicker or a long snapper to get those scholarships. And now if you're a basketball player, you want a scholarship, you need to be a 3-point shooter.
What's that kid that gave Kentucky nightmares last year in the tournament? That white kid from they were like the 15 seed or the 14 seed, and I can't remember. He works for Enterprise Rent-A-Car now. He scored he scored like 30 points in the first game.
Why is it B? Why is the letter B in my head right now?
I can't remember the guy's name right now for the life of me. Somebody will know it. Somebody's probably yelling it if they're watching this and they look it up, but I can't remember the kid's name, and he was so good against Kentucky in the first round. And then he got shut down in the second round, I want to say.
He was on fire. I'm trying to I needed to get to this game.
You try to pull it up because now I want to know what this guy's name was. And I can't remember it for the life.
I'm down in the 40s right now. I can't do that.
Not Grayson something or other. God,
No.
I can't remember this kid's name.
That's not brilliant. Oh, we got a lot of. This guy was
Jack Golke.
Jack Golke. Golke.
Oh my God, Jack Golke for Oakland.
Not a B in any of his names. Not one B.
B for badass.
Yeah. Vanna White did not give me a letter on that board.
No, it did not. You would have been out in
dun dun.
against Kentucky. Yeah, in the first round it was Oakland.
Yeah, Oakland, that's right.
Like that kid, he doesn't. Who knows? Where is that? What is that guy? That's why I say Enterprise Rent-A-Car. What is that guy doing right now? Who knows? But
I think he was working for Barstool for like a month, and then he just got a salesman job somewhere. Insurance.
That's. I hope he got a degree from Oakland. That's gonna move me. Oh yeah,
Golke. I remember Golke, man. Golke could not miss.
All right, I'm gonna move on to the ugliest game that I have on here. I don't expect you to care about Morgan State against South Carolina State.
Morgan? What'd you get? You got
Morgan State Bears are facing the South Carolina State Bulldogs. This is one of my favorite games ever. It's the name college teams. We
a combined record of 18-33.
It's not good. South Carolina State is 5-16.
Oh my God.
And Morgan,
they're 7-19. They're 5-16, and they're 7-19.
7-19.
They score 66 and give up 80.
Yeah, they do give up a lot of points. And Morgan State is a slightly better team.
Yes.
They're closer to 500. But see, their conference is so small. Like South Carolina State, they've only played 10 games in conference.
Yeah.
In the MEAC. They're in the MEAC.
There's only 8 teams.
That's why. So
yeah.
you got a team like that just South Carolina State again giving up way too many points. They're set, but in the MEAC they're 7-3 Morgan State. So watch, they're the hunter, not the hunted.
And it's only 1.5.
Look at how many points that they score. They scored 80 in a game, then they scored 79, then they Maryland Eastern Shore.
89, 80, 82.
So they score, and South Carolina State can't score, and this team scores, and also South Carolina State gives up 80 points to everybody. So on average, so
my goodness.
The 1.5 points doesn't make any sense. I'm probably missing something here, but they're not counting on too many people betting on this game. So usually bad conferences don't have a lot of line movement because people are not betting on the game. I'm going to take advantage of what seems like a free bet. 1.5 points doesn't make any sense. I took the money line anyway, but I'll probably just take the points also. It just doesn't make any sense. But quickly, just wanted to touch on that game. Morgan State's got a guy that shoots 88% from the line and scores 18 points a game. That's the guy I want if this game happens to be close for whatever reason. As I want.
They got 3 guys that can score 80. That shoot 80% at least. We love a good 3-point or free throw shooting team, don't we? It's the most important shot in basketball.
It is, in college basketball especially.
College basketball.
We start fouling with 48 seconds left, and we got another 5 minutes of free throw shooting on our hands.
You can't make free throws. You're not winning the tournament. You're not winning. You're going to have a hard time winning games.
You're not covering 1.5.
No.
Which is all I need them to do today. So, let's move on to another ugly bet that I have here at the end. This game was played closely. Portland and Gonzaga. The first game was, a 6-point win for Gonzaga?
Portland,
6-point win. Sorry about that. Where are we getting 26.5 points?
Revenge. Vegas is hoping for revenge.
This line, so I ran it through the model that I used today. This was 18.5 points was the line. This is being overinflated for the brand, and that is it. People are going to bet Gonzaga plus 26.5 because at 10 o'clock at night when your first set of parlays are already crushed, you've got nothing else to go off of. Gonzaga seems like free money. And what do you know about Portland? Nothing. You don't care. I have no doubt that this game is going to go Gonzaga's way by 20 points. Is it going to go by 27? I don't see it. Too many points for me. I ran 2 projections. It's got 87 to 64 as the common score. So 23-point victory for Gonzaga. Portland beat them 87 to 80. This was this month.
Yep.
So yes, specific
3 weeks ago. That was exactly 3 weeks ago.
Revenge. And Portland has lost 6 of their last 8 games, and they can't score 60 points against anybody. But you know what they can do? Turn on the tape of this game and watch and remind themselves that they don't need to be scared of Gonzaga. What do they need? 27 points? You can hate the game. I'm on Gonzaga. I'm on Portland. I'm on it, dude. I love this bet.
It's so many points.
It's so many points. And watch
for
Gonzaga,
a team that won by 8, and then all of a sudden it's like
40,
27.
Yeah, why? Where's the 34-point line movement?
Well, I mean, in that game, did Gonzaga have their guys? I don't think Gonzaga had their guys in that game.
Oh, so their guys are going to come out and be mad about a game from a month
DK
ago?
played. I don't think. Oh my God,
It's
he
the
had
only
24, 10, and 3, and they still lost.
conference loss that Gonzaga has this year.
Yeah, it was a 33 to 39 at the half, and then Gonzaga's. Then it was 47-48 in the second half. So
They
Zags came out.
The whole game.
Zags need this game.
Yeah, I'm not saying that they're not.
I'm not saying it where it's like they can lose again. That's not happening.
If the first half, normally it's a little more than half the total, right?
Yeah.
So let's say it's 16 in the first half. I would take Gonzaga minus 16 in the first half for sure.
Yeah.
If they're going to come out, they're going to come out and beat them, and then the foot doesn't need to stay on gas. They have St. Mary's on deck.
That's the thing, is that the last game, this is the second to last game of the season. The last game of the season. Now, St. Mary's is going up against St. Clair, so it's like, but the Zags, their mentality is, do they look at tonight's game like we just got to destroy this team, or do they look at tonight's game as we got to get to next week?
For what? Do you okay, if you're Gonzaga, do you get any ranking or style points by winning this game by 30 versus 15? No.
This is revenge for them. This is the country doesn't care how much they win by, as long as they win the game.
Most of the country is going to be asleep by the time this game. They don't care about this game. This game is purely being boosted that high so that Vegas has a reason to get the people who are up late, who want to throw in another bet to bet on a game.
That's so many points.
It's so many points to a team you beat by 7. It makes no sense whatsoever to me. And again, I'm probably missing something, but I'm not really, because I know why they're favored by this many points. They're Gonzaga, and this is Portland.
It's Gonzaga, it's Portland's revenge. It's at Gonzaga. I don't think Gonzaga cares how much they win by as long as they win, so they're not going to try to like win by 50. Like if they end up winning by 50, it's because Portland just sucks tonight.
If you're up by 24, are you going to push it to 27, or are you going to take your players out because you're not trying to get hurt in a meaningless game?
Next week's more important. Next week is the most important game of the season for them.
And again, and even that game is really not that big of a deal because both of those teams should make the tournament no matter what happens.
It's a seeding for the conference tournament because tonight's game, if St. Mary's beats Santa Clara tonight, then next week's game is for the number 1 seed.
Right, which I do suspect St. Mary's wins that game. We talked about that, and maybe we'll talk about it. I can't remember if I put it on here. I don't think I did. But quickly, since we're on West Coast basketball here, let's just touch on it real quick. St. Mary's is favored by 5.5. I think the total is 141, 140, 146. I can't remember. Santa Clara is 14-2 in conference, and so is St. Mary's.
So is St. Mary's. Both have the same records. 15-1.
So these 3 teams should rightfully, and I don't know if Santa Clara is going to get hosed or not, but Santa Clara winning this game will probably get them into the dance. They're a good team.
Oh, they're a very good team. I think all 3 of these teams are tournament bound no matter what.
I do too. I like to think that, but this is kind of similar to what I was talking about George Mason before. Although a stumble here from Santa Clara would just mean you lost to the best team or second best team in the conference. Really not that big of a deal. And their only losses will be against Gonzaga and St. Mary's. I don't know if San Francisco beat them or not, but San Francisco's got a down year.
They beat Santa Clara, beat St. Mary's twice. They lost the Zags by 8, and they beat St. Mary's 62-54 already.
Right. That's see the style of game, and where are we getting 140 something points in this game?
Yeah, they lost to the Zags twice.
Yeah,
So-
Gonzaga. Well, Gonzaga had to beat them twice. They've only lost.
Yeah, but they beat St. Mary's. They're home. That was at Santa Clara. Tonight's game's at St. Mary's.
Right. That small dark gym we were talking about. Just I hate that place.
And look at the score it was 62-54.
That's what I'm saying. There's 115
These
points.
two teams play each other. It's defense.
Where are you getting 140 points from?
And it's at St. Mary's, and St. Mary's is usually their best defensive team at home.
Dictate the pace at home. That's how. I'm on St. Mary's for sure. The under in the game.
I love the under. What was it? It was 155?
No, it can't be that high.
Or I got that wrong.
It's 140 something, I want to say.
153.
Yeah, no, what? The first game was 118 or 120. What?
150. It started at 151.
What do I know?
And now it's at 153.
What do I not know?
Like, is this their all-time teams coming together? Like, did we get some G League guys come to the teams?
Yeah, I don't like this at all. All right, I'm on that one too. We could put this one on here. Let's just
Todd Golden suiting up for St. Mary's tonight.
We'll add real quick. We'll add a
Patty Mills. Patty Mills is starting tonight.
St. Mary's.
He's got some eligibility left. He's
under 150 and a half. Is that what it is?
153 and a half.
Get the front door out of here. Who bet this? Are people just looking at Santa Clara scoring a lot of points and saying that that's going to be what dictates this game?
It's 152 on draft on Hard Rock.
That's fine. Whatever. We'll leave it as it is.
150s.
Yeah, I don't love it. So yeah, piggybacking off Gonzaga, I'm on Portland plus 26.5. That's insane to me. And then I'm gonna add this one in here at some point. I always do this. I do a 7 o'clock parlay. I do a 9 o'clock parlay. I do an 11 o'clock parlay.
Those 11 o'clock games there's a big schedule at 11 o'clock. Late night games are big.
Speaking of which, because I love this game, this is another one from out here. I love Loyola Marymount getting points against Washington State. I don't understand this line at all. Not that Loyola Marymount is a better team. They're actually a worse team than Washington State, but I believe that they beat them already, 81-76, if I'm not wrong about that. I may be thinking of something else. But this had the biggest line movement of any original line in any game whatsoever.
78-76 the last time they played.
Right. Okay. So, and Loyola beat them.
No, Loyola lost.
Okay. So they lost by 2 points, which is what this line is, at Washington State. Now they're at home, is what we're going.
Now they're at Loyola.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look for a quick detail that I had on this game as to why.
I would say Washington State lost like 4 of the last 5, but they played Santa Clara, Gonzaga, and St. Mary's.
Yeah, it's what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, you're not beating those teams. Only those 3 teams can beat each other.
What happened in that first game there? Let's see. Washington State made 10 3-pointers. They went 12 of 13 from the foul line. They won the rebounding battle. Loyola was up 14. Washington State was up 10. So these were huge swings here in this game. They both scored a lot.
This is Loyola owned the first half and Washington State owned the second half.
Yep, that's it there. It's not, there's nothing about these two teams that separates them very much. But this game was played a long time ago. This is in like January, beginning of January.
Even though Washington State owned the second half,
Yeah.
Loyola still almost took in the end of the game.
Right. This game was there for the taking. I saw.
Yeah, it was a 4-point game pretty much the entire second half.
Right.
Or the last 5 minutes of the game, it was like a 4-point game.
I like this is going to be one of my late throw-ins. It wasn't really at the top of my board, but it was just a game I liked. There's another one I liked. Wake Forest minus 4.5 against Boston College. Boston College is horrendous. And then, so just to piggyback, I like Loyola plus 1.5. You can take them on the money line, whatever. I like them at home in a very close game, so it's not going to be some slam dunk here. No pun intended. The last one, we talked about this right before we started, and we were both talked ourselves into Ohio State plus 8.5 at Iowa. Trying to understand this line at all was very, very weird because Iowa is a newly defensive team taking half of Drake's team and becoming Drake now, and Ohio State has hung tough against really good teams lately. And you want me to lay 3 possessions with Iowa?
The pace is going to control this game. Both teams are going to play at a pace that a 10-point victory is not going to happen, and free throws are going to get it to that line. But it's going to be a 3 to 5 point game in the late minutes of this game.
I'm not against taking I'm not against Ohio State on the money line.
I was about to say I can see Ohio State winning this game.
They're one of those teams both these teams have good players, so you're getting these are good teams. They're not
Thornton for Ohio State. Thornton's 20-point scores for both teams. Starts in Thornton.
Their records are very similar. They haven't met because the Big Ten is now the Big 32 or whatever it is in the conference. Too many teams up there. And yeah, when you have a player, you have 2 great players in this game, college basketball wise. You have two guys that can really get the job done. I don't see. Iowa's a potential tournament team, which makes me think okay, they're going to pay attention to this game here. But Ohio State, to me, they're not. If they were 3-7 in their last 10, I would see laying this number. But they're 5-5. They're 2-3 in their last 5, and they've been against all good teams.
Yeah, no, they're getting their.
They're losing close games when they lose, like the Michigan State game we were just talking about.
6. They're up most of that game.
They could have won that game. They beat USC. USC is a good team. They've got good young players anyway.
They were up late against Virginia. Virginia came in the end.
Virginia won that game by 4. So you're asking me Virginia on a neutral court that game was, we determined.
Yeah, Nashville.
You're telling me that Iowa is either A, as good as Virginia, and then the home court is baked into this number? Or what? Because I don't understand how you're telling me that Iowa is 9 points better than this team. Sturtz is a great player. I mean,
Sturtz is a great player.
21 points a game, but does Thornton kind of cancel him out?
I think Thornton kind of cancels out what Iowa's going to try to do and control the pace. They're going to try to lessen Ohio State's possessions, but Thornton is a guy that can take advantage of every possession he can.
Ohio, I think
as long as they score, Iowa's not going to have any type of advantage in this game.
I think Mobley is out for them for Ohio State, and he's their best 3-point shooter.
Yeah.
Which is fine, John Mobley. He's shooting.
I don't think a lot of points are going to be scored in this game anyway. For that to be
a shooter. And then the other pushback was that I'm reading right now while I'm talking to you is they've got 3 guys that they put in heavy rotation that don't shoot the ball well, particularly. But again, I'm 30% shooters from 3-point range. I'm not looking for somebody to bomb a bunch of 3-pointers against Iowa because Iowa's not trying to go down and score a bunch of points either.
No. And 8.5, 7. I mean, it's just no. That's too many points. You think Iowa's going to win by 9, 10 points? I just don't like.
Ohio State's biggest problem is that they don't play defense well. That's the biggest problem. But this is the perfect matchup to go against a team that doesn't.
I was not going to try to speed up the pace at all.
This is not like we were talking about before. This is not your Iowa of yesteryear that scores points every single game. They don't. Go look at what they've done this year. Ben McCollum is a great coach. He led Drake to exactly what they were supposed to be, but now he's taken his imprint and he's put it over here. We're going to play. It's just like the Iowa football team, the Iowa basketball team now.
Yeah.
We want to find it out, low scoring, use
a lot of punts, a lot of field goals, defense, keep the pace, slow it down.
And the thing with Ohio State is they have a guy that can break that down.
That's what I
And
mean. They have a dude that if you're going to try to slow the pace down, that's fine because they got a dude that can put up 20 even though it's a slow pace.
right, and that's what I think it's going to take to keep it. I mean, we need to keep this game under a double-digit win, and I just don't see Iowa. Iowa doesn't have a need to win this game by double digits. Beating Ohio State isn't like a quad one resume booster. You
No,
know
it's
what
a team that and then at the end of the game, if they have a lead, they have a little lead, a 3-point lead, 2-point lead, 4-point lead, they're just going to walk the ball down court. They're not going to run it. They're not going to try to get in transition. They're not going to try to do a lot of. If they get a couple transition baskets, they'll get 2 or 3, but then they're going to slow it down the rest of the time. They don't want to play a speed game. Can they
I
put up points? Absolutely. They're not trying to put up points. They just know they can.
this
So if they
game,
get the advantage, they'll do it. But
right?
it's not their strategy.
100% with you. This game opened Iowa minus 4.5.
Yeah. Now it's at 7.5,
And we got it here at 8.5.
eight
We're
and a
just
half.
in the extra cushion here just in case. When you get a number this big, this is, and you can attest to this for sure. If you're up 7 with 6 seconds left on the clock, are you fouling? Are you getting fouled? No. So the free throws that are going to keep this from going over, if that's you got a 2-possession game there, the other team's not going to foul you.
Yeah. I would say, and for undisciplined teams, I can see fouls getting played because they're just frustrated.
Right.
But these teams are very disciplined. These teams understand like a 7-point lead in this game is like a 15-point lead in
It's
those games.
over at that point, and you're just going to call the dogs off, and so I'm comfortable with that. So it going from 4.5 to 7.5, it just doesn't make sense to me. Even with the injury to Mobley, he's not worth 3 points.
No.
Thornton
Not against Iowa.
3 points. If Thornton was out, it's worth 3 points.
Oh, yeah.
But you're talking about a one player making a home court advantage disappear or appear.
No. If Thornton was out, I'm taking Iowa double digits.
Right.
But Thornton's playing. I don't think it gets to that point. If it does, it's because Ohio State just plays terrible. But if both teams are playing good, I don't see it being above 5, above 4. Especially with the total being at 140.
Iowa allows opponents to shoot 53% from 2.
Yeah.
So if you don't fall in love with the 3 and you go and get your buckets against them, you keep the game close.
Yeah.
That's the way to break them down, is not fall in love with the 3-pointer. And as I just highlighted a second ago, Ohio State is terrible from 3. They don't have 3-point shooting, so it's not like they're out there like, guys, we should just keep chucking these up even though they don't go in.
They shoot almost 50% as a team, though, so they're getting paint points.
Right, that's what I mean, and that's 53%.
And they have 3 front court guys that are getting almost 10 points a game, 9.2, 11.3, 14. They got front court that can score.
This is the exact scenario of this entire episode that we've recorded here. Is why is this number like this? I'm not going to let my eyes lie to me against.
So late in the season too. I'm trying to figure this out. Like, do we not have enough information about these teams to understand that these lines are just?
I thought that we do. They don't make any sense. Now watch, we'll go 1-7 on these picks.
Of course, because there's going to be late injuries that we don't know about that Vegas knows all about. So it's like
college does stuff like that. But as it sits now, I feel comfortable with this stuff. So,
yeah.
Just a quick rundown again of the stuff that we did and the picks that we liked here. Let me see if I can get myself back up here to where I was at. We'll get this off. We'll go up here. SMU, we like Cal plus 4.5.
Yeah.
Utah State and San Diego State, we like under 146.5. I'm on Utah State to win that game outright as a plus 1.5 point dog. I got North Texas minus 1.5 at Charlotte. George Mason on the money line at St. Joe's. Queens, we like Queens team total. We like the over in that game, and I like Queens on the money line against Eastern Kentucky. That line's at 165.5. They combined for 190 points the last time they played. Well, I like Morgan State in the Ugly Bowl against South Carolina State, who's got 7 wins on the season and can't score 60 points. Portland plus 26.5 at Gonzaga. That's so ugly.
I'm out of that one.
Loyal Marymount at home plus 1.5 against Washington State. 2 very comparable teams. So if you don't want to touch that one, fine. We like your Gators over 82.5 points. I also like 5.5 with the Gators. If that number stays there, I don't see why I'm not taking that. Ohio State plus 8.5 that we just talked about, and then we added Santa Clara and St. Mary's under 150.5.
Yeah. 53.5.
If you want to bet Wake Forest minus 4.5, I love them against Boston College. Boston College sucks. That number doesn't make any sense either, but do what we do with that one. And I'm going to try to put these out as much as possible, as much as I can get Josh on here, or if I'm doing them by myself, whatever. But as long as we can make time, we'll try to get some picks. If you stuck around to the end, good for you. Thanks for doing that. There's a lot of information here. Just trying to make you guys better at betting and try to look at things from better than just, hey, this team's favorite, I'm going to pick them kind of thing. So on to the next one, and we will see you guys around the corner. Just make some money.